Hey everyone, Scott Cunningham, aka Scott C Business. Today we're going to be talking about Litecoin and Bitcoin's halving and why that matters. Because to a lot of people, they say, what does that even mean? I've had people say, I don't actually believe that's going to happen, or, I can't trust you on your opinion about Bitcoin and Litecoin. It's not my opinion. I'm not an expert, but it is a fact that they will have. And you can make your own financial decisions based on what I'm telling you. I'm not telling you to invest in Litecoin or Bitcoin. What I am telling you is that there is a high likelihood that their value will go up on the next halving. And there's a really good reason as to why that is the case. And it always has gone up traditionally. And this isn't like, oh, well, maybe it won't because, we can't always base it off of the past. Naturally, based on supply and demand, if people still have the same, if there's still the same trade volume, if there's still the same want for it, generally, if something is halved, supply and demand, it doubles in value, generally. So, again, do not make any financial decisions based on what I'm telling you, but we're going to dive into this and see exactly why it's so important to make note of these halvings and how they will affect the price and the value of these currencies. So first, we're going to look at Litecoin and briefly explain what a halving actually is. So what happens essentially is when Litecoin is being mined, if you don't know what mining is, maybe I'll make a video on that separately, but essentially Litecoin and Bitcoin are mined by miners who are just creating they're mining using graphics cards to solve complex problems as a proof of work to provide some sort of value that backs the coin. And they create blocks, and then the miners get rewards in the form of those cryptocurrencies. So Litecoin, the reward for every time they get a block. So when they mine a block, they get 25 Litecoins currently. Every 840,000 blocks that are mined, the reward will half. It will be half as much for the miners. And this is to deal with inflation and that there will only be a limited amount of coins ever produced. I believe the estimate was that Bitcoin and Litecoin would finish halving in around the year 2140 and 144 for Litecoin and Bitcoin respectively. I believe that's what it was, and that was the last time I checked. It's really based on an estimate because it's how many blocks are being mined. So if people stop mining, it will slow down. If more people mine, it will speed up, and naturally that changes when there is a halving. So on the next halving, you'll see here that it's estimated for 37 days from now on August 5th. In the next halving, people will get, instead of 25 coins for mining a block, they will get 12.5 coins. The reason why that is such a big deal is that they will be getting way less of an incentive to be mining coins. Naturally, the reason why this affects the price is that a lot of miners will stop mining. And when there is the same demand for Litecoin, but a significantly lower supply of Litecoin being generated, naturally, the price reflects in those changes. Again, you don't have to rely on me being an expert or having some, really good degree. Not that I haven't gotten a degree, but, that doesn't matter. All that matters is this is the information we have. This is when it's going to have. You can take this on your own accord and make your own financial decisions based on this. Mind you, I've shifted a lot of my coins into Litecoin so that I can really use this halving as a litmus test for Bitcoin. This is the first time that I've been involved in cryptocurrency and I've been a part of a halving. So again, this is my speculation. In 37 days, Litecoin will probably shoot up in value because of the halving. And after that, I'll probably be selling a lot of my Litecoin off. I could wait till Bitcoin halves, but I think this will prove to be a very great way to show why the Bitcoin halving will be so significant. Bitcoin's been going crazy lately, but I try to not concern myself with where the price is today because, I open up my my Blockfolio and it's like $2,000 up and I'm like, oh my God. But I know I'm not even going to sell until the next halving. So then when it drops another 2,000 on the same day and I'm like, that sucks. I probably shouldn't be so emotionally invested since I'm trying to wait another, 340 days or whatever it might be. You can see here on I'll link these websites. It's just Litecoin block half and Bitcoin block half, I believe. Just make sure. Yeah, and Bitcoin block half. But they give you a lot of really useful information that is updating in real time. So, you can see all the information, like how many blocks are there, what's in circulation. You can see here, there's 62 million in circulation, and there will only ever be 84 million ever created. Almost 75% of the total Litecoin has been mined. This is what's left to be mined, and this is the current price. You get a lot of the good stats that'll give you a good idea of where it's headed, but it is very obvious that once it does halve, something is going to happen. And it's not going to go down in value. I can tell you that. But again, like lately, I've had a lot of people getting really upset about me making predictions or speaking about where a coin might go. And they're saying, like, that's pretty risky for you to be saying things like this because people are going to hold you to it if they invest and it drops. And even though I didn't actually make a value prediction or claim that it would 100% be the case, I gotta stress, don't ruin your life based on me, some random guy telling you this information. Look at what I'm saying and make your own conclusions. But again, only 37 days till the Litecoin half. Just so you know, And then similarly for basically in the exact same way, Bitcoin is set to halve next May on May 20th. We got a countdown here. Very similar situation. You've got 85% of all Bitcoin basically mined. We're at 17.7 million. There will only be 21 million ever to be mined. So it gives you a pretty good idea of where we're at. Bitcoin block mining rewards half at every 210,000 blocks. The next coin reward will decrease from 12.5 to 6.25. So you can see it's one halving ahead of Litecoin. Mind you, it's way older than Litecoin, but you can see here that it is one halving ahead, and it's like about 10% ahead of how much it's mined. So again, take all of this into consideration because this is extremely relative to how the market performs. And some people will say that's speculative, but you can go back in time and you can see when were the last halvings and when did the Bitcoin price shoot up in value. Now, again, this is my opinion, this is speculation, but I see a very interesting correlation between when Bitcoin halves and when the price skyrockets. So I honestly used to think that Bitcoin was on some sort of 2-year hype loop where the media would start to hype it up again, and then it would start to gain a ton of value and just shoot up, and then the media would come out and say, it's not good, it crashed, it's bad. And every 2 years or so, you can search for Bitcoin in mainstream news, And every 2 years or so, if you change the time parameters, you'll see just an insane volume of posts talking about it, and naturally it shoots up in value. So you can see that now, like with the Bitcoin rally where it went up like 2 or 3,000 and then it dropped down. I saw like 5-6 articles from one outlet on the same day just about that. So maybe we're entering that time now because it is that 2-year spectrum. And who knows, maybe there is some sort of connection to the news hype and the value. I mean, that would seem natural. But what I realized was that it was the Bitcoin reward halving that was making it go so much up drastically in value. People are just like, oh, Bitcoin's getting really, really hype again. Well, no, it was actually because it doubled in value more or less because the demand was the same, but the supply was halved. And naturally, it just shot up in value. And then because all the outlets were talking about it, more and more people were like, oh my God, this is shooting up. Like, gotta invest. And then it crashes. As it always kind of does with those, massive gains, and then everyone sells off, and then, that's how it's been going with Bitcoin. Whereas it breaks a previous ceiling and then it crashes, but its crash is usually above the previous ceiling. So, that's something to consider. If that happens again, it'll give you an idea of when to buy in and when to buy out. Again, don't take my word on it though. I'm just telling you what I think based on what I'm looking at and what I'm reading, and the information that I have available to me currently. So again, guys, Bitcoin is going to be halving in less than a year on May 20th. Like, that's the proposed estimate. Again, that could change. You can always come back to this website, check out for yourself. You don't need to rely on what I'm saying. And just to have like interesting stats that you can keep up with that are being updated, pretty useful to just know. And I'll include these in the description. You can go and check this out. Let me know what you guys think. Are you investing in Litecoin? Are you investing in Bitcoin? Does this change how you feel about the hype cycles, or whether or not you should be investing right now or getting out, or what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. I'm sure everyone else would love to see what everyone thinks about this. I'm sure for really advanced crypto investors, they're like, yeah, this is just obvious. But for a lot of general mainstream, crypto users and investors, this might be really, really interesting, powerful information. I didn't actually really have a grasp on this until more recently. So, if I didn't know about it, I think I'm sure a lot of people also didn't know about it. But, who knows? This is still relevant for me to share with you guys because, you can benefit off of this. But again, I know I've said it a million times, but I have to stress, don't make your financial decisions based on what I'm telling you. I am not a financial expert or a cryptocurrency expert or anything of the sort. I've only been investing for, a little over a year and a half, around there, a year and a half, 2 years-ish. But by no means am I an expert. I haven't made a copious amount of money, but I hope to on the next halving. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do before I sign off here. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be focusing on the Litecoin halving. If it goes really well, I'll be selling them, and it will really raise my spirits for the Bitcoin halving. And I'll be preparing all of my portfolio to sell literally the entire thing when there's a huge boost, if there's a boost on the Bitcoin halving, and then I'll buy in on the next dip. So, that's what I'm going to do. I am not a raging success. Take this as you will. People can tell me in a year from now whether or not I was on the money or if I was way off the mark. And I will suffer or benefit based on what I'm dedicating myself to, because this is 100% the way I'm going to play it out, unless there's some insane, ridiculous change in the price. If Bitcoin goes to 50,000 plus, I'm not waiting on the halving. I'll get in because there'll be a crash before the halving. If there's like a massive gain well before then, yes, I will get in on that, and I will probably sell. But my general long-term strategy for the next year is to wait for this and use the Litecoin halving as a litmus test for what I should be focusing my time and money and currency on. So again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off.